Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I just want to say happy Father's Day to all of you wonderful fathers out there. I just wanted to make a video for my dad for Father's Day. It's going to be a golf warm-up because I know he doesn't really do any golf warm-up before his golf games, and so I'm hoping this will encourage him to do so. And I just want to say how blessed I have been to have such a wonderful father. Growing up, he's always there for me. And growing up, I remember I would, have really hard time falling asleep. And he would come into the room and just talk me down into sleep. And, with his deep dad voice, it always worked for me. And, sometimes in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and out of a nightmare and I'd want to go and crawl into my parents' bed. And I go and I wake up my mom, can I come in? Can I come in the bed with you? And she'd be like, go away, go back to bed. And then I'd go and ask my dad, can I crawl in bed with you? And he'd throw back the sheets and just come on in. And, I think it drove my mom crazy because they had, for some reason, such a small bed. It was one of those double beds. And I think they had it for maybe 30 or 40 years. They just never upgraded until recently to get a bigger bed. It's so funny. And anyway, so yeah, she never wanted me in the bed there. It was too small. But my dad always let me do it. And, even as an adult, 7 years ago when I had to move from Calgary to Vancouver, my dad offered to come help me move. So he brought the truck. This is in the middle of January. It's really cold in Calgary. We load up the truck, we load up the U-Haul, and then we drive all the way to Vancouver. And on the way, we hit a snowstorm. We almost get into an accident. One of the tires goes flat. We get stuck in Revelstoke, and we barely get a hotel room. Like, it was a cancellation. And then the next day we finally get here, we unload, and the whole time I don't think my dad complained once. And it was just, he's such a great dad, and I just want to say I love you so much, Dad. Happy Father's Day, and I can't wait to spend the day with you. Alright, so let's get started with the stretches. All you're going to need is a dowel, a broom handle, or a golf club, and a chair. Alright, so we just want to start by warming up the forearms. You're going to keep the arms straight, and you're just rolling the dowel towards you. We're just trying to warm up those muscles in the forearms. And once you've done that for about 30 seconds to a minute, you start to feel, well, maybe a minute's too long, maybe 30 seconds, you start to feel a little bit of a burn in that forearm. You can switch, and now you're still pulling the dowel towards you. All right. And after you've completed about 30 more seconds of this, then you're just going to want to stretch them out. So we can bring our hands into prayer position, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Again, 30 seconds feels about right. And then you can bring your palms up and just give a nice gentle stretch to the forearm. You want to keep the arm straight, but not like, hyperextended. You want to have maybe a slight bend. But if you're bending it and stretching like this, you're not really going to hit the right muscles. You want to have that arm straight. And let's switch sides. And make sure you drop that shoulder down away from your ears. And be gentle with the wrist stretches. Your wrists are very delicate. There's a lot of tendons and bones and things in there. And now we want to stretch the tops. So make a fist with your hands and roll it down, keeping your arms straight. Bring it down and out to the sides. So we'll do that again. Making a fist, rolling it down, dropping the arms, and bringing them out to the sides. Okay? Now you don't have to hold this one for a long time. You can just repeat the movement until you feel that stretch. Okay, shake them out. Now let's do our neck. Again, very delicate area. You don't want to overdo neck stretches, and you don't want to hold them for too long. So just gently bring one ear to the shoulder, keeping the shoulders down, retracted, like depressed and retracted. You want to have them back and down. And I'm just gently stretching the one side, and I can look down towards my shoulder and then go to neutral, maybe slightly looking upwards, And always keeping the back of the neck long. You never want to be in the stretch like this, okay? And then trace the chin along the collarbone to the other side, looking down at your shoulder, keeping the shoulders down, then coming to neutral, and slowly, maybe gently looking towards the sky, and rolling it back to neutral and coming up. You can kind of shake your head no, wiggle it to the side, I don't know. And okay, let's use the dowel now. So we're going to do the shoulder warm up. You want to have a pretty wide grip in your hands, and you're going to circle around to the back and around the front. Now I'm keeping a slight bend in the arms. I don't want to feel any crunching. You want to just have a nice light stretch. You're just sort of feeling the shoulders waking up, and you can do that about 3 to 5 times in one direction, and then you'll want to make sure you switch directions. You can do it nice and slow if you want, feeling all the areas. You might feel a little chest stretch. And we are going to finish it off with a little chest stretch. I just like to bring my hands just a little more close, and I'm keeping a slight bend in the arms. And you don't want to overdo this. Again, you want to do this really gently. Now you're holding it out in front of you, and you can release one of the hands, and we're just going to do tick-tocks. Just warming up the muscle. If it's too intense, choke up on the pole or golf club. Again, I'm keeping my arms relatively straight. They're not poker straight. There may be a slight bend, but I'm not down here. I mean, you can do it down here as well, but we're also warming up the shoulder a little bit. All right, so we'll try that again. And I like to do these a little bit slower. You can also start to add golf clubs. If you feel like you could have more weight, then you hold 2 golf clubs instead of 1. Okay, so let's warm up the hamstrings. Okay, have the pole out in front of you. Your knees are at a slight bend, your back is nice and flat, and you can just walk out and kind of lean into the pole. If you feel like that's not enough of a stretch, you walk yourself down the pole. And you can walk yourself back up again. Just holding that again, 30 seconds to a minute, whatever feels right. You can repeat it more than once. It's also nice because you might be getting a little bit of a stretch in the arms. Okay, now once you've done that for long enough, make your feet a little bit wider, and you're going to take that pole and put it out to the side. And now you really want to make sure that you're not rounding in the spine like this. I'm really focusing on keeping my back nice and flat, my shoulders down, and I'm just going to have if I'm leaning to the left, I'm going to have my right arm on the top, and I'm just leaning a little to the side. I'm going to feel the stretch in my lower side here, and the back maybe, and along the lats. And whenever I'm doing these stretches, I like to pull my belly button in, which really supports the spine. And then come up and switch sides, and make sure you switch your hands. So left arm on top when you're leaning to the right. And when you're pulling that belly button in, it's really engaging your transverse abs. Your transverse abs are really to stabilize the core and to stabilize your back. Okay, and you can come up. Now you're going to have the pole out to the side. Pivot that right foot towards the pole, keeping the back leg where it is and the foot facing forward. lift that top arm. And now I'm just doing a gentle lean to the side and feeling a stretch here. You can look at the ground, but just make sure you're not leaning forward like this. You want to make sure you're staying in one straight plane, as though there's a wall in front of you and a wall behind you. All right, now we're going to pivot to the other side. Again, foot facing the pole. This other foot facing forward, arm up, and just lean to the side. Now during this exercise, I also keep my knees with a slight bend. I don't poke or straight lock them out. It feels better for the knees if you just have a slight bend. All right, now take that front foot and bend into it, and the back leg you want to pivot so you're at a 45-degree angle. You're gonna have your hips and you're gonna pivot them forward like they're two headlights, like this. You have two headlights and you want to have the headlights forward like this. Okay? You're just using the stick for balance, and then you can lift that top arm up if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch. Now, this really is great for, warming up, because you're going to be doing a lot of walking, using your hip flexors a lot. And when that's enough for you, just take that back heel, lift it, and pivot it, and put it back down on the ground so that it's nice and straight, and you can lean forward, and you're going to get a bit of a calf stretch there. All right, now come up to standing, keeping your feet where they are, just pivot them forward, switch sides. That front foot, you're gonna bend into it. The back foot, you put at a 45-degree angle. And then you're gonna lift that top arm if you want the deeper stretch. Making sure those hips are facing forward. And now take that back heel, lift it up, pivot, and put it back down on the ground and lean forward for the calf stretch. Okay, come back up to the front. Okay, so now it's time to grab the chair. Okay. So for this one, we're finishing it off with a little bit of a trunk twist, because you're going to be doing a lot of that in your golf game. You just want to do this nice and gently, just kind of waking it up. You want to sit up nice and tall, have one hand on the edge of the chair or your leg, and you can just grab the back of the chair and just do a gentle twist. And switch sides. You can even just grab the handle if the back of the chair is too much. You can just grab the side handle. And while I'm twisting, I'm trying to think of pulling my belly button in and sitting up tall, keeping the shoulders down. I hope that helps you do your warm-up. Good luck on your golf game. Hopefully you get some better scores with this, and I will see you on the next post.